All the way from Pullman, Washington to 90-degree Denton, Texas. The Cougars from Washington State in town to take on the Mean Green. North Texas looking to improve to 3-0 for the first time since 2018 back home at DATQ Stadium. They have fired the cannon and they are ready to rock in Denton, Texas. You're watching the American Conference on ESPN. Great crowd, beautiful day here in North Texas for some Week 3 football. Alongside the former Notre Dame star Darius Walker, I'm Chucky Kemp. Well, two teams that enter unbeaten. They've got here in similar ways, a nail-biter and a decisive win for each.
Yeah, a lot to be excited about for both these clubs. For Washington State, they've got a new head coach with a championship pedigree. He's really good. And on the other side for North Texas, they got a quarterback guru, an offensive guru at the helm in his third season. So a lot of optimism for both of these teams. But here's the point, Chucky. There are a lot of new players for both of these squads. We'll talk about them. Transfers, young players coming in. Somebody's going to remain undefeated today. It'll be exciting to see who that will be.
And two first-year starters at quarterback, filling big shoes from a season ago for these offenses.
Absolutely, without a doubt. When you talk about Jackson Potter, one of the things that was most impressive in his Week 1 to Week 2 jump was his decisiveness. In Week 1, he looked really indecisive. Week 2, he looked elite on that side. On the other side for Drew Mastermaker, he's incredible and exceptional and an elite passer, but he's really young. He's just a redshirt freshman. The team has high hopes for him. It'll be exciting to watch him continue to grow here today.
Just about set for kickoff. There is Jimmy Rogers, year 1 as the head coach at Washington State, named the 35th head coach there on December 28th, late after 12 years at South Dakota State, including the last 2 as a head coach, where he won a national championship there, the second of back-to-back in 23.
And Chuck, he's talked to us a lot about the investment that's happening at Washington State and why he was so excited and eager to leave a place he'd call home for so long to move to Pullman, Washington, he and his family. So he's super excited, but he's an elite coach. He's got a championship pedigree. We've talked about his winning record and what he's done well. He's bringing that to Pullman.
On the other side, it's Eric Morris in year 3, who is familiar with Pullman and Washington State. Made 2 separate stops there, one back in 2012 as a receivers coach for the late Mike Leach. The other is their offensive coordinator just a few seasons ago under Jake Dickert. He is in search of his first winning season here at North Texas. They told us this is their deepest team. They're excited about this season and the opportunity at hand.
He was pretty infectious when we spent some time with him this week, he and his staff. You can tell he's a player coach. He gets it. He's excited to move this team around, and specifically on the offensive side, he has some elite quarterbacks that he has seen, so it'll be exciting to watch him route that through his team here today.
It is a hot one in Texas. 90 degrees, partly cloudy. There is a light breeze, about 12 miles per hour, coming from the south. We'll see, though, how fatigue plays a factor as this game moves on.
Chuck, you mentioned the breeze. It is light. A light breeze. It's just a delicate little dab of wind coming up through here. So conditioning, recovery, all going to be important here today.
Ryan Harris tees it up for Washington State. Simeon Evans deep to return for North Texas. And we are away. A couple unbeaten teams going head-to-head in Week 3. North Texas will take over after the touchback. And we will get our first look at the redshirt freshman from Austin, Texas, Drew Mastermaker, who is making just his 4th collegiate start. He hadn't started a game since his freshman year of high school prior to last year's bowl game, but Eric Morris and company think they found their guy.
And not to mention, he arrived here as a walk-on. So what a career he has had to be someone who's a young player, wasn't really that touted coming out of high school, to be able to come in and play, earn the starting job this fall and through spring. They're excited to watch him continue to grow in the position.
North Texas offensively struggled last week against Western Michigan, but got it going late in that game and rallied to win it in overtime. First play connecting with Landon Sides, his 3rd catch. Local product, went to Geyer High School, and they've got a gain of about 7 on 1st and 10.
And that's a great start for a young quarterback, trying to get him in rhythm.
They're going to go quickly. Hand off to McGill, who has space up the middle all the way to the 46-yard line for McGill.
One of the things I love about this offense is the blocking of the tight ends. Number 6, Trey Williams, that time led up to give McGill the space to pick up the first down.
Mestemaker hit as he throws downfield, delivers a strike to the 30-yard line. It's Miles Coleman, his former high school teammate.
Well, we've seen 2 timing passes on this first drive. Miles Coleman is going to get outside and then settle right down on the inside of that defense. Big pickup, big time catch. And you see this offense, they're continuing to go. They're up on the football with their tempo.
It'll be trips right for Drew Mestemaker. Off to a great start already at the Washington State 30-yard line. Handoff to McGill going left side, and he is bottled up quickly. Max Balloon was there along with friends to make the stop.
Big time play from Max Balloon, the 5th-year senior, one of those transfers from South Dakota State. He is a big time football player.
This is an interesting matchup when you look at Eric Morris and you look at Jimmy Rogers from a head coaching mindset. Rogers built his success at South Dakota State and that program on defense. On the other side, Eric Morris, he has been around offensive guys all his career. He is known as an offensive guru. Mestemaker with a man in motion, quick pass to Coleman, who is wrapped up right away by Jack Ellison.
This is one of those plays from the Mike linebacker position. Jack Ellison, number 42, he's got to come down and make a play in space. You see this from the Mean Green all season long, where they like those touch passes to try to put themselves in 3rd down and manageable.
Jack Ellison's first year playing. He walked on last year and redshirted, and here he is seeing considerable time for this defense. Mestemaker into the flats to Coleman with space on 3rd down, and he jumps out of bounds. Did he get there? He did not. He's going to be a full yard short of the 1st down marker.
And this is one of the things they do a lot, bringing guys in motion. Coleman's the guy here who catches that and gets upfield. Needs to understand where those sticks are. Should have stretched that over to try to pick up the 1st down and ensure you got it. That's a little bit of an awareness mistake from Miles Coleman, but brings up a 4th down situation. And they've got Mackenzie McGill in the backfield, number 0. He's to the left of Drew Mestemaker. Hand the football off to the big guy.
And they do. McGill charges forward just past the 30 or the 20-yard line to get the 1st down and move the chains. Ellison makes the stop.
That was an attempt by Jack Ellison from the Mike linebacker position, number 42. He knifed inside to try to get McGill down. McGill had that forward body movement, fell forward for the 1st down. Now we'll get our first look at Jaden Beck's number 5. He'll be to the left of the quarterback. A little bit of a changeup from McGill. He's explosive, one-cut kind of guy.
1st and 10, Beck's in motion. Mestemaker doesn't see the pressure coming off the edge, and Kenny Worthy gets there. The redshirt freshman from it's Francel, the transfer from South Dakota State.
Yeah, Francel's on the corner here working against Braden Nelson. The tackle, he just does not move outside. That's a miscommunication from the offensive line. Nelson's got to flare out to take that edge pressure off. Big time play from Caleb Francel.
16 South Dakota State transfers came with Jimmy Rogers and this staff. That is one of 11 in Francel on the defensive side of the ball, one of the leaders of that unit. Mestemaker with time, clean pocket, goes over the middle and plenty of space there. Spinning off a tackle inside the 10 down to the 7-yard line for Landon Sides.
This has worked really well for this offense, these crossing routes. They got Landon Sides, Miles Coleman. They're going to cross in the middle of that defense. Nice protection up front to give Mestemaker the time to make that throw. And then Sides showing you that wiggle room with the football in his hands.
McGill next to Mestemaker. North Texas 11 of 12 in the red zone this year. 8 touchdowns make it 9. McGill cruises into the end zone, and that is a statement opening drive from North Texas.
Big time play. Watch Desmond McGee, number 76. He's the one who makes the big block on the edge to give him a chance to go untouched into the end zone. And McGill taking up where he left off last week after the game-winning touchdown drive and touchdown score he had a week ago in overtime. He gets to the end zone again for the Mean Green.
1 touchdown a week so far for Mackenzie McGill. Nice little trend he started, as we'll see Kali Unguma, the sophomore from Mission, Texas, on for the extra point. It is up and it is good to cap a 10-play, 75-yard drive over 4.5 minutes.
And what a drive for Eric Morris and company. This team, they're rocking and rolling. And McGill gets him to pay dirt. We've got a 7-0 football game.
Seven 0 North Texas over Washington State. Just a few minutes into this game, Eric Morris talked about the importance of starting quick. Job done for him and his offensive coordinator, Jordan Davis.
Yeah, particularly at home against a high-powered offense like Washington State has. They needed to score early. Success. One check mark for the Mean Green.
Leighton Smithson deep to return for Washington State. Anguma sends it away. It is a shorter kick, fielded at the 7 by Smithson, who's going to angle right side and hit at the 25, falls forward to the 27-yard line, where we will get our first look at the redshirt sophomore Jackson Potter. He's from Huntington Beach, California. This is a long tradition of great quarterbacks at Washington State. The last 2 seasons, he got to watch Cam Ward and John Mateer.
Not bad company to be a part of. You look at his completion percentage and the passing yards. What I love the most, he has protected the football. He's a young quarterback, 4 touchdowns, no interceptions. Also good with the deep ball. They are extremely high on Jackson Potter. And I mentioned this again, Chucky, because it was valuable. What a big jump from week 1 to week 2 for him as a football player. 3
of his 4 touchdowns came last week in a win over San Diego State, and it was a convincing one for Washington State, getting it out quickly into the flats and knocked down Kirby Voorhees, making that catch out of the backfield.
Nice job by Joshua Meredith there, number 18, blocking on the outside from his wide receiver position. And that's what it's going to take for Washington State on offense. They need their wide receivers to be impactful in the run game and the short passing game as blockers. And you see Angel Johnson there to the left of his quarterback, number 1. They need him for explosive runs.
They've stressed getting him the ball in space. Jeremy Noga, one of their top receivers, in motion and making the catch on the outside, but he's dragged down immediately by Quentin Hammonds from his nickel position.
Nice job from the sophomore out of Allen, Texas. Quentin Hammonds, a terrific job making a play in space there. You see the quarterback list. What a list from Washington State with Cam Ward, John Mateer last year. He's doing big things at Oklahoma now, and Cam Ward was the number 1 pick last year.
That's the recent run. Jaden DeLora before those 2, but you go back further, Mark Rypien. Minshew wasn't too far in the past. Of course, Ryan Leaf was a superstar. Across the middle on 3rd down. That is a strike to Tony Freeman. T-Free with his first catch of the game.
He's been so explosive this year. He does a nice job of settling down in this zone. Watch him come into the middle of the screen and just sit. Excellent job, gets to that knee, catches the football, made sure that the route had the distance. That's a quarterback and a wide receiver on the same page with that timing route.
A couple California kids getting it done for Washington State. Freeman from Richmond, California, has already surpassed last year's receptions number in his 2nd season for the Cougars. Handoff to Johnson. Tries to make a couple miss. Hammonds in on the stop again after a 2-yard gain. Take a look at some of your impact players for today's game.
Yeah, a lot of guys needed to make plays on both sides for these teams, but for Washington State, it's Trey Lechner. He had a big game last week, had a couple of touchdowns. And then for the Mean Green, Ethan Day. Saw him play last year at Wyoming. Heck of a defensive lineman, number 90. He makes some big plays.
11 tackles, 2 sacks on the year already for Ethan Day. You mentioned Lechner. He has 7 catches. 2 of them have gone for touchdowns. 2nd and 8 now for Jackson Potter and company. Potter wants to throw. Pressure coming. Johnson got in the way. Throw downfield is picked off. North Texas takes it away for the first time from Jackson Potter. And a big-time return for Evan Jackson. Inside the 20 and thrown down at the 13-yard line. It's a remade defense under their first-year defensive coordinator, Skylar Cassidy, and that is a big-time play for the Mean Green.
Watch Shane Whittier here, the will linebacker. He's going to blitz and blow the running back up. That pressure in Potter's face made an errant throw. And Simeon Evans picks this off, almost takes this the distance, but you see all the green jerseys around him. What an excellent play, but watch this collision here from Whittier and the running back. if you're a quarterback and you see that in front of you, it impacts you no matter what happens. That's a big-time play from the linebacker to set the safety up for a big pick.
Evan Jackson, the top returning tackler on this defense, had 3 picks last year. That's his first of the season. Mestamaker trying to make him pay. Tosses out left side for Bex, who gets the edge, and touchdown! Jaden Bex using the speed, and North Texas leads by 2 scores.
The Mean Green are on fire. Watch Caleb Francil here, number 9. He's the guy who has the chance to make the play on the outside, but because of the contact and the collision, he loses outside leverage, which means it's a foot race with Jaden Bex to the end zone. And that goes to show you, they talked about Jaden Bex. He's the one-cut explosive running back. They got a number of different guys in the backfield for Mean Green and Mackenzie McGill, Jaden Bex, Ashton Gray. We'll see him as well. Right now, clicking on all cylinders for North Texas.
14-0 after the extra point from Nguma. Everything went right here for North Texas on defense.
They have been having quite the day for the Mean Green. Lots of excitement. Whittier sets him up here, pushes Potter to make that errant throw. And then they're dancing on the sidelines, wearing the belt. We got a 14-0 game here in the first quarter. Bex caps it off to extend the lead.
ESPN College Football is brought to you by Progressive. Get coverage you can count on with home and auto at Progressive.com.
Washington State stunned right now in Denton, Texas. North Texas leading 14-0 over the Cougars. Touchdown drive, turnover, immediate touchdown. Flag on the field and an injured player also on the turf near the 17-yard line. It is going to go against Washington State on the return.
During the return, block the back, number 21, return team. After this to the goal line, first down.
And the problems continue for Washington State here. Let's see if we can't get some details on who's down for North Texas. They got Pabst on that blocking in the back on the special teams. What a start for North Texas. You know, when we spoke to the staff, they talked about starting fast on both sides of the football. Safe to say they've been able to do that here today. I'd love to see him walking off on his own accord with a little assistance.
Samaje Burrell, one of their linebackers from Fort Worth, Texas, and one of those Sam Houston transfers that came with the North Texas defensive coordinator, Skylar Cassidy.
This is Cassidy's first season at UNT as a defensive coordinator. Eric Morris told us he loved what he did at Sam Houston. He brought 6 players with him from that team. But he has turned this defense around in a hurry. But now we get another look at Jackson Potter, Chucky, and this is the first time Potter's had to face some adversity. His first turnover of his young career. We'll see how the big guy responds.
And that was a pretty good looking drive, made a couple good throws. Angel Johnson trying to get going, but he is dragged down at the line of scrimmage by Trey Fields coming up from his linebacker position.
It's a nice job by Fields working in space there in the middle of that defense. Now, if you're Washington State, you have to look at guys who start to stretch the field for you at the wideout position. They've got number 21, Carter Paps. He's at the bottom of the screen. He'll be flanked in the second position of the trips down at the bottom. He's number 21.
One of their running backs, Maxwell Woods, is the far receiver who they throw it to, and he's hit immediately by Davion Armstead. And that's going to bring up a third down.
This is a dangerous play here because Armstead gets to run full speed to make this play. Maxwell Woods. Armstead, another one of those Sam Houston transfers. He has played a lot of football in his career, has that NFL pro size at 6'1", 180 pounds. They keep him on an island, and you see why. He knows how to compete.
3rd and 5. Washington State has had big third down struggles this season, converting at about 26.5%. Potter with time throws a strike. It was a bit off target, but Freeman makes a really good catch on a bullet pass from Potter.
And you see the hand strength from Tony Freeman here. Watch Zero come into frame right in the middle of this defense. He's going to settle down and make a hand catch with those 2 hands. Nice job using the hands. You'll see some wide receivers try to use their body inside on some of those inside throws. Nice job using the hands. Textbook catch.
2 for 2 on third down in this game for the Cougars. So already a good start on that down that they've struggled on. Potter with pressure coming from the backside. Deep ball down the sideline. It's caught. What a play. And it's Carter Paps, the true freshman from Wichita, Kansas. They said we have got to get him in the game. He is a player.
This is an incredible block in the back by Corey Flores. He's at running back. He lays out the Mike backer, which gives Potter the time to throw this down the field. And what a perfect pass from Jackson Potter to Carter Paps. Big time play. They are looking for big things out of number 21. He is just a true freshman, a young player, but he shows you why they are so high on him. Because he can play.
He has 2 catches on the year, 1 for 34, 1 for 43, as they get a good chunk there on first down and going to Kirby Voorhees.
Nice cut play here from Voorhees. Watch him put that foot in the ground and get up the field. He's able to flank outside of Trey Fields there and pick up some positive yardage.
And again, Darius, like I said, the first drive looked pretty good. They were moving the football and it stalled out because of the interception. This is a fantastic drive right now for the Cougars offense.
Well, if you're North Texas, it was the pressure that made that errant throw. So you wonder if they'll dial it up on defense here soon.
Pistol set, Voorhees in the backfield as a blocker, and Potter saw the defense on Jeremiah Noga and decided otherwise. David Fisher out there in coverage.
The other guy who's been outstanding for them, he was our impact player, Trey Lechner, number 23. He's at the tight end position. You see him in there. Third down situation. We've mentioned the struggles that Washington State has had on third down. A lot of times that outlet is the tight end. You'll see him at the bottom of the screen.
Voorhees and Woods surrounding Potter in the backfield. That's Woods in motion. Going to swing it out to him in the flats at the 30-yard line. It's a good block and gets the first down inside the 20 to the 19 and moves the chains. They have been excellent in the red zone this year. 7 for 7 with 5 touchdowns.
Watch Noga on that block over David Fisher. He's the one who extends this play to the outside to give Maxwell Woods the space to pick up the first down. And this has been a really good drive. They've been mixing it up. The Cougars have on offense with run pass.
Just the 4th time an opposing offense has been in the red zone against this North Texas defense.
Timeout. North Texas. They're first of the half.
Mean Green wants a timeout. Jackson Potter and company looking for a big response here. 1st and 10 at the 19 when we come back. Coming up tonight on ABC at 7:30 Eastern, 3rd-ranked LSU hosting Florida in Death Valley. That is a big-time matchup. Would have been a top 25 matchup had Florida not lost in the Swamp last week to USF. Look at this, though. Florida 0-9 against ranked opponents on the road since 2019. They did win this game, though, last year in Gainesville. Something to keep an eye on tonight. 1st and 10 at the 19 for Washington State. Potter on a quick flip, coming left side, and space closed down quickly by Armstead. It looked like Josh Meredith had plenty of room to run.
I mean, the closing speed from Armstead here, from his corner position, he is lightning fast and not afraid of that contact. Nice job getting Meredith down. You know, we mentioned again Trey Lechner, number 23 for Washington State. Watch the edge of this offensive line for the tight end position.
Potter trying to keep a successful red zone start to the season going. 2nd and 8. Handoff to Voorhees going the other direction. Knocked down at the 11-yard line, just shy of it. And a couple yards short of a first down.
Christian Hilborn here, the right tackle, makes an excellent play. Watch 61. He's going to get that leverage. And when you turn that body, you leave so much space for the running back to be able to get in and up the field to the second level. Nice job blocking by the right tackle there, the 5th-year senior.
He's working on the big man Ethan Day on that play. 3rd and 2. Washington State 2 for 2 on 3rd down today. Handoff Voorhees and running through the chest of a North Texas defender, very close, and thought live it looked like he got it. They have not moved the chains yet.
Bryson Hayes there, the defensive end, number 44 for North Texas. The good job of winning at the point of attack to leave no space. We'll see if they measure this. Take the time to see where it is.
It is going to be close. They have that ball. Looks like the tip may be right at the 9-yard line, which is where they needed to get to. First down for Washington State, and that was close. They are now 4 for 4 today. Something that has been an emphasis, but this is an offense that just seemingly continues to grow in confidence and get better after a really tough start against Idaho in week 1 in Pullman.
Yeah, well, you're seeing the ebbs and flows of this team. They had the rough week 1, big week last week against San Diego State, and then have hurt themselves with the turnover here today. I've got to figure out how to rally and bounce back. It all starts with your quarterback, but I have been impressed with Kirby Voorhees, number 9. He was outstanding last week and has done well here today. He's to the right of Potter in the backfield.
There's Pulalasi, one of the other running backs, in motion, and they were looking into the flats toward Trey Lechner. Voorhees was also in that direction, incomplete on 1st and goal.
And you wonder if that's a miscommunication there between the running back and the quarterback. Seemed like Potter was expecting Voorhees to run the flat route as well. Sets up a 2nd down situation here for Washington State. And if you're North Texas on defense here, these are the moments where you can pin your ears back and let some of these linebackers go on a blitz. Ethan Wozlowski, number 32, he's the guy they like to line up near the line of scrimmage to blitz.
Potter with Noga in motion, looking that direction. Potter toward Noga. There's a lot of contact at the end of that route, but no flag, and Noga didn't seem to be looking too hard for one with Armstead on him.
Armstead was all over him. You wonder if Armstead got away with one there. Watch the right arm of Armstead. He's number 2. Looks like he got some cloth there. He got away with one.
Yeah, maybe a hold when Noga broke that route off.
You see 61 here. This is a rough game. 3rd and goal situation here for Washington State. This is an important point in this game and in this drive. You don't want to rush this. And if you're Jackson Potter here, you can't take a sack. Make sure that you move up the field. They have called his number as a runner a couple of times in these situations as well, so don't be surprised if we see the QB draw.
North Texas showing a lot of pressure in front of this offensive line. Potter, plenty of time in the pocket, throwing back across, and it's batted down. Blanket coverage by B.J. Allen, the Texas transfer.
And Potter had a clean pocket here. B.J. Allen was all over the wide receiver here. Not much space for Potter to fit that football in. You have to wonder in that situation on a 3rd down. They've had a lot of success moving Potter, bootlegging, allowing him to run. But a big-time stop for North Texas.
This is Jack Stevens from the right hash at a 32-yard game winner in week 1 against Idaho, and that is perfect for Stevens to put Washington State on the board. Outside of the interception, really both offensive drives have looked pretty good for Jackson Potter in this Washington State offense.
Well, we've been impressed really with both sides on offense, moving the football and being creative with the play calling. So got to give credit to the coaching staffs on both sides offensively.
ESPN supports the College Football Playoff Foundation's Extra Yards for Teachers Week each year to celebrate great teachers across the country who have inspired so many of us. Nominate a great teacher in your community by visiting cfpfoundation.org. Texas will get the football back. The biggest question for Washington State right now, despite not finishing that drive with a touchdown, is about this defense. After a fantastic opening drive by North Texas, they were put in a tough spot on the second drive following the turnover, but it was one play and a touchdown for Jaden Becks.
It's really been the tempo, too, for the defense that they've struggled with. We know that North Texas likes to run up-tempo. They don't huddle. They get the offense up to the line quickly. That has caused some problems for Washington State. And that was one of the questions we talked to Jimmy Rogers about, is how do you rep that in practice? They tried to do some creative things, but there's nothing like game reps against the speed of North Texas.
Yeah, I can't get the scout team quite to emulate what they do. They said they did a lot of mental reps to try and handle this defense. As you look at these first couple drives, 10 plays, 75 yards, one play, 12 yards after the Evan Jackson interception, and great return off the Potter pick.
And Mestemaker, 5 of 5 for 59 yards, so he's been perfect so far, has a real command of this offense. And that's one of the things that's interesting for them on offense, Chucky. Mestemaker has a lot of optionality in what he can choose to do with the line of scrimmage, so we'll see him change plays sometimes on his own.
Mestemaker hands off to McGill, cutting around and hit hard by Jack Ellison, who we've said his name a lot already early in this game. A pickup of about 3.5 on first down.
It's another one of those good runs that just keeps the chains moving.
Mestemaker with time, throwing down the field and caught near midfield. Cameron Dorner, his 10th catch of the season, now over 130 yards receiving through 3 weeks.
Thought Tucker Large here, the safety #1, had a chance to break on this football. He was unable to get there in time before Dorner was able to make that catch. Nice pitch and catch from the quarterback to the wide receiver.
They're really high on Dorner, said he might be the most talented guy in that receiver room. 1st and 10 at their own 48-yard line. Mestemaker handing off to McGill, who charges forward, and again, a physical Cougars defense. Comes down hard. Parker McKenna, Cale Reeder also in there.
And they need this out of McKenna from that will linebacker position, number 44. He is exceptional in space. He's been playing well today.
Mestemaker, pressure coming, flags down, and throws it away. There was actually a player over there. Mackenzie McGill was there, but I think he's shaken up.
Looked like they might have gotten a hold here on the offensive line. Isaac Terrell, number 88, the defensive end for Washington State. I think he had a win on the outside.
Offense, number 6, 10-yard penalty. Repeat, second down.
Trey Williams there, their Swiss Army knife. He's the guy that they bring in 11 and 12 personnel. He's really tough to tackle with the football in his hands, too. They've been impressed with how he's grown as a blocker. But that time, a little too much cloth.
12 seconds left in the first quarter, possibly the final play of the opening frame. Jaden Becks is the running back. We'll keep an eye on McGill after he came off following that last play. Becks in motion. Mestemaker, pressure coming, a little tunnel screen coming across the middle, back to the original line of scrimmage and just shy of midfield. Simeon Evans on the catch, the only Sam Houston transfer on the offensive side of the ball of their 6 from that program. 14-3, North Texas at the end of 1. Drew Mestemaker and company loving life right now. And the defense getting the job done too. They lead by 2 scores. 14-3, North Texas over Washington State, start of the second quarter. Despite it being the first meeting between these two programs, there is a connection. Eric Morris said he got his first full-time job at Washington State under the late Mike Leach as their inside receivers coach. He returned there just 4 years ago as the offensive coordinator for Jake Dickert as Mestemaker takes off, but there is a flag on the play, so we'll see what that is. But he talked about Pullman. He said it is a special place, proud community, blue collar, and said
Holding number 54, offense, 10-yard penalty, repeat, third down.
Said he really felt comfortable there. He's from a small town in Texas, so that small town feel was familiar to him. And he said, I also had a really good experience returning under Jake Dickert because it was the first time he had worked under a defensive-minded head coach.
Yeah, he's got a lot of love for Pullman for sure. You actually see it play out a little bit in his offensive style and how he approaches quarterback play.
He played for Mike Leach at Texas Tech and then took that first full-time job at Washington State under Leach. Now at North Texas in his third year as their head coach. 3rd and 19, Mestemaker out to Bex in space, and a great open field tackle by Large. Tucker Large, one of those 11 defensive transfers from South Dakota State, back-to-back first-team all-conference there.
Yeah, they're so excited to have him back because he's been banged up, but he's #1 here. He's going to come in and make an incredible open field tackle. It is really hard to get Jaden Bex down. We've talked about his explosiveness and his speed, but that is an experienced safety coming down and making a play. No wonder he's the team captain.
Maybe a chance for some momentum now for the Cougars after a nice defensive stand, their first against this North Texas offense. Sawyer Evans boots it away to Tony Freeman, who fair catches it at the 13-yard line. On the other side, you have a new man in charge for Washington State in Jimmy Rogers. And look, he went to South Dakota State when he was 18 years old. He said, I had numerous chances to leave, but this one felt like a place I could win and I could do it with a national brand. He said, I also had the chance to keep my staff together. That was important. He said, anyone that tells you they got here without their staff, I just think that's crazy. And said he wanted to bring these guys along because it was a group effort.
It's so true, though. You see a lot of these coaches get head coaching jobs, and then they don't bring any of the other staff from where they were previously. So he is a stand-up guy to bring the staff with him down to Washington State.
Handoff to Johnson, who is cutting and weaving. Dragged down after a decent pickup by Richard Outland Jr.
Washington State has a number of running backs that will play. There's Angel Johnson there, also Maxwell Woods and Kirby Vorez. They will rotate those guys in the backfield quite a bit. One of the things we haven't seen for Jackson Potter yet is to give him the opportunity to throw the football deep.
Voorhees in the backfield with Potter alongside with Johnson. North Texas showing pressure off the edge. It comes, and the throw out wide, cut down for a loss of about 4 yards. Tackled.
And you'll see him come in and make this play on Vorez. Vorez is pretty nifty with the ball in his hands. That was kind of a dangerous pass, though, from Jackson Potter, not giving his running back an opportunity to be able to cut that football upfield. Brings up a big 3rd down for Washington State. They're trying to pull a little bit of this momentum on offense into this game after marching down the field.
It's Colin Lewis on the stop. They said they will rotate guys in a lot. Potter looking downfield, has a man, and caught just shy of midfield. Landon Wright, the redshirt freshman from Fresno, California. That is his first career catch.
You have to love it. Potter getting a chance to open it up downfield. And one of the things they've told us about Jackson Potter are the deep passes. This is the first time they allowed him to throw that football right down the field, and Wright showing up in a big way for his first career catch. Welcome to college football.
Second season, redshirted last year, though. Hadn't made a grab this year. They get it outside on a physical tackle near the sideline against Leon Neal Jr. Neal has a touchdown on the season as well. That's his 4th grab. Will Jones, the 2nd, takes him down. Potter's starting to really look good.
Yeah, he's looking really good. He's starting to settle in too. But one of the things they've told us about this wide receiver core is they rotate the guys. Everyone brings something a little bit different to the table. They will feature everyone at the wide receiver position, 6 to 7 guys. Potter loves to spread it around.
Handoff, nowhere to go for Pulalasi. Shane Witter got there first.
You see Witter, he has been terrific in the middle of this defense, number 7. He's got a knife down, beats the center on the play. Johnny Lester, nice job by Shane Witter. He has been destructive and disruptive for North Texas on defense so far here today.
3rd and 6 for Potter, who has 11 completions to 8 different receivers.
We've got Tony Freeman, number 0. He's in the slot position.
Handoff to Pulalasi, who cuts outside, now trying to get downhill to the line. He's going to be 2 yards short. Lewis made the stop.
You thought he had a chance to get there. The left tackle, Ashton Tripp, number 71, pushed his guy outside. But Pulalasi still went outside to try to pick up some big yardage. This brings up a 4th down situation here. They usually like to lean on the running game. Pulalasi's number 20 to the right of Potter.
Redshirt sophomore Leo Pulalasi on 4th and 2. They are 4 for 5 on this down this season. Potter throwing, long throw, and it's caught and converted. It's Joshua Meredith to move the chains.
It's a good job blocking in the backfield by Pulalasi. Watch 20, he's gonna knife down, take his defender down. That added some space for Potter to be able to see down the field to get that pass out to Joshua Meredith. You gotta show love to the running backs when they do their job and pick up a defender. Love to see it from the big guys.
Angel Johnson is the back with Potter. 1st and 10 at the North Texas 41-yard line. Hudson Cedarland was the tight end in motion. You just saw move across the field. Potter looking to his left. High throw and incomplete. Lewis thought he brought that in. The officials immediately saying no, it hit the ground.
Yeah,
there's a flag too on the play on the near side.
Let's see what the call is.
This is about 5 yards downfield.
Down foul. The 65 offense. 5-yard penalty. Repeat first down.
Looks like they got Brock Dew there. The center, number 65, going down the field. An eligible guy downfield, number 65. Love to see the big fella trying to make a play there.
Brock Dew in his 5th year, returning starter, made 11 starts at right guard last year, 2 at center, but he is their guy snapping the football right now. 1st and 15. Potter sends Meredith out wide left, throwing down the seam, too high. That one was picked, and Lewis knew it. The 2nd takeaway for the Mean Green defense.
This is back-to-back errant throws from Potter, just too high to Trey Lechner there. And what a heads-up play to break on the ball by Colin Lewis. Mean Green, 2 interceptions, 2 takeaways. They're up 14-3.
North Texas, and they just got the football back. Their 2nd interception. Colin Lewis, the sophomore, taking it away for the Mean Green defense and giving the football back to Drew Mestemaker. They did review the play in the break and upheld the call on the field that it was an interception. 1st and 10 at their own 30-yard line for Mestemaker and company, who had to punt it away for the first time on their last offensive drive. Little bunch set to the left side, and now McGill will join those receivers that direction over the middle, and that was a wild throw to an open Landon Sides.
Yeah, we've seen both quarterbacks needing to settle in here on these crossing routes in the middle. Landon Sides that time had a post route. He was wide open in the middle of the field there. That's one that Drew Mestemaker is going to want to have back. You have to be able to take advantage of the opportunities that the defense is giving you, especially in a tight game like this. You can't miss on those throws.
Mestemaker plenty of time here and just casually flips it over the middle. McKenna with the big hit on Simeon Evans after a gain of 6.
And this is one of those times where Meston-Maker's got to get through these progressions faster, because Simeon Evans was wide open for quite some time running across the field. If he gets this football to him earlier, maybe he can break up field and avoid the big hit from Parker McKenna.
3rd and 4. North Texas 0 for 2 on 3rd down today. That was Williams in motion, looking near side, and the ball comes out. It is recovered by North Texas. The question is, where are they going to put this ball? It will go back to where it was recovered at the 34-yard line, but one official is saying incomplete pass. And now we're going to have a discussion.
That was Landon Sides there on a slant route, trying to catch that football. The question is did he have full control and take a couple of steps, which is what they're talking about at the moment.
And regardless, this is going to be a punt situation for North Texas, because it's either an incomplete pass or the ball's going to go back to the 34-yard line anyway.
If he had held on to that football, he would have been close to the sticks.
Pass was not called by the receiver. It was then touched by an offensive lineman. That's illegal touching. It's a 5-yard penalty for any of your spot. Lost it down, 4th down.
Well, there you go. A lot to unpack right there. They're going to move it back another 5 yards. I think you almost have to fall on that, though, regardless, because you don't know in real time if that's a live ball or not.
It's a heads-up job by him to get on the football in the first place. But that's a big stop for Washington State on defense. They've been kind of on their heels so far the first part of this game. So if you're Jimmy Rogers and company, you got to be excited about the stop there defensively.
Tony Freeman deep to return from Sawyer Evans, who helped this North Texas punt return defense finish number 2 in the country last year, allowing just 1.3 yards per return.
The receiver did not catch the ball. It's under further review.
Take another look at this.
And again, it's not really going to matter. We will punt the football away. Likely anyway. 14-3. We'll take a break. 14-3, North Texas over Washington State in a battle of 2 unbeatens here in week 3 in Denton, Texas. Well, let's take a look at this week's college football rankings, brought to you by Allstate. Ohio State up top. They've got Ohio at 7 Eastern tonight. We mentioned the LSU-Florida game, 7:30 Eastern on ABC. The one I'm keeping my eye on. We're going to Tampa next week to see South Florida.
That's right.
They've got Miami, a battle of 2 top 20 teams. That game at 4:30 Eastern.
That'll be a big one. Also, that Georgia-Tennessee game. It's another one that has SEC implications all over the board. Does Georgia get it going? Can they get it going? This is where we are here. We're trying to figure out if this was a catch. See that ball moving around a little bit there. Nice job by Shane Whittier getting his hand in between the football.
Looks like we have a decision.
Review, the defensive player touched the ball before the offensive lineman. The offensive lineman caught the ball at the 34-yard line. It'll be 4th down.
Still 4th down, and still the punt unit out there for North Texas, as we hear from our referee Edwin Lee. 2 very different-minded coaches. Eric Morris, all offense. Jimmy Rogers, very defense-minded. At a school that we mentioned has produced so many fantastic offenses and quarterbacks. Evans gets the punt away, and it is a good one down to the 15-yard line. That's where Washington State takes over 1st and 10. WNBA playoffs tip off tomorrow, and once again we'll have all 4 first-round games. Same format as the last few years, a best-of-3 series. In each series, Valkyries Lynx begin at 1 Eastern on ESPN. Fever Dream at 3 on ABC. Liberty Mercury starts at 5 Eastern on ESPN. And Storm Aces, busy day. They tip at 10 Eastern on ESPN. All 4 also available on the new ESPN app.
Unfortunate, no Caitlin Clark in that Fever game.
Out for the rest of the season.
It's fun to watch.
1st and 10 at the 15-yard line for Jackson Potter, who has 2 picks in this game. Really his only 2 mistakes. They've just been big ones. Voorhees looking for space. The ball comes out, and it's another takeaway. A nightmare start to the drive in this game for Washington State.
And Voorhees is trying to make a play here from the running back position. He's fighting for more yards. You can't fault him for fighting for more yards here. He's not high and tight with the football. You got to have 2 hands in traffic on there. Gets pulled by the collar and drops the football. And the 3rd turnover for Washington State.
Will Jones forced the fumble. Zaylen Scott, the redshirt freshman from Cedar Hill, Texas, jumped on it. That is a -3 in the turnover column for the Cougars. In about a quarter and a half, not even.
What a turn of events here in this 2nd quarter for Washington State. Watch out for North Texas potentially taking a shot at some point this series.
Ooh, the trickery. Mestemaker spinning around in the backfield, and it doesn't amount to much as Washington State sniffs it out with Cale Reeder, who is making his season debut today.
Yeah, a lot happening here on this play. You see Mestemaker finally comes around and pitches it. Got Trey Williams, number 6, to lead on this play. That's a really good job by Washington State defensively of holding it to a 2-yard gain, because there was a lot happening in the backfield there for North Texas.
Gotta think at some point Mestemaker's thinking, when I turn my back to the field, I hope I don't turn around to something bad. Beck's fighting for yardage, and he's not going far either.
Number 5, Jaden Beck.
Finished off by Bryson Lamb. And this defense for Washington State starting to pick it up as well.
Led by Caleb Francel, number 9. He's the guy who is the glue for this defense. He and Anthony Polano, number 0. They need both of these backers to make plays in space.
Those are 2 guys that were a part of the number 1 scoring defense in FCS the last 2 years. Mestemaker throwing toward the corner of the end zone, just beyond the reach of his intended target, but there is a flag on the play. He was looking for Coleman. Tucker Large in coverage and maybe some contact at the end.
The question is, did Tucker Large...
Interference, number 1, defense. Ball replaced at the 2-yard line. First down.
Does he turn around and look for the football while this football is in the air? Watch Coleman working against Tucker Large. Does he turn and look? He does turn and look. That is a tough one from the angle that we see there. Not sure if he had his right hand on Coleman the entire time, but he did exactly what you're coached to do, which is to turn to look for the football while it's in the air. But the miscues and the problems and penalties for Washington State continue to hurt this team.
McGill in the backfield. Throwing that direction, and that is an easy touchdown for North Texas. Brandon Young. They had 3 tight ends on that side of the field. It is Young who gets the touchdown. It's his first catch of the year.
They had a cavalry in front of him. Trey Williams, number 6. A lot of green jerseys here on this quick pass. You see the guys blocking. And number 9, Caleb Francel, had no chance from stopping that touchdown. And you have to give Eric Morris and his staff a lot of credit. They have capitalized on the turnovers to put points on the board.
Ollie Unguma puts it through for the extra point. 21-3, North Texas over Washington State. 7 to play in the first half. 21-3, North Texas leading Washington State with 7:07 left in the first half. Tomorrow morning on Sunday NFL Countdown, before the Eagles-Chiefs Super Bowl rematch, Saquon Barkley sits down with Marty Smith. Plus, can Aaron Rodgers and the Steelers stay hot in A-Rod's Pittsburgh debut? And Randy's best catches of the week in You Got Mossed. Sunday NFL Countdown, 10 a.m. Eastern on ESPN and the all-new ESPN app.
Really looking forward to Saquon Barkley there. Got him on my fantasy team. First draft for me.
Don't worry about that. Don't worry about that, Darius. Come on now. You know you're the Kansas City guy here. And Guma boots it away for a touchback.
So, Chucky, one of the things I'm wondering here for Washington State, They've got Julian Duggar, number 2, as the second string guy. We saw him play some last week. We saw him play some week 1 as well. The question is are they bringing him in for a mix-up here and a change of pace? And it looks like they are.
He has thrown 1 pass, 0 for 1 passing. He does have their lone rushing touchdown of the season last week against San Diego State. Duggar, a redshirt freshman from Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, and he spent last season at Pitt. 1st and 10 at the 25-yard line for the talented freshman. Handoff to Johnson, who is a long way from home and somehow is only going to lose a yard on this play.
You know, when we spoke to Coach, one of the things they talked about with Duggar is allowing him an opportunity to pass the football. He hands this off to Johnson, nowhere for Johnson to go. But that's been the Achilles heel really for Washington State on offense when they bring Duggar in. They have yet to allow him to throw the football. He's either handing it off or running it himself. They told us they were going to try to change that up. So far, they have yet to do that with Jackson Potter coming back in the game.
Potter in the game, 12 for 18, 123 yards, 102 interceptions. Throwing short to Johnson, trying to spin away from the tackler. Not going to happen. Quentin Hammonds making the stop, and this drive is going backwards right now.
This is a nice job by Hammonds here, just playing outlet to the running back, waiting for something to happen. Nice job spying on the running back there, able to get him down to force another 3rd down.
Some fresh bodies on the defensive line for North Texas. Zaylen Scott and Fadafehi Vailea come into the game.
Chucky, they've got Jeremiah Noga, number 15. He's out to the bottom of the screen. He's the deep threat.
Little screen and not going to happen. Thrown out of bounds. Shane Witter sniffed it out from the start.
If there has been a guy defensively for North Texas who's playing lights out, it's number 7. Shane Whittier. A lot of times you see linebackers in the screen game get a little bit confused when they see color in their face. But Whittier is a smart player. The senior transferred in from Oklahoma. He can run. They will blitz him as well, but he's a smart football player. Big time stop for North Texas.
Last 5 offensive plays for the Cougars as this gets away from the punter, and it is blocked. Bouncing at the 29 and fielded at the 30. Harris couldn't corral the snap immediately, and then North Texas was all over it.
I'm not sure what happened here. The ball was low. He still got his hands on it. Had to get up and try to pump that away. Defender able to get their hands on the football, and the problems continue for Washington State. Not only the miscues on offense with the turnovers, but now the kicking game becoming a problem. And you have to remember here too, Chucky, Washington State, this is their first road game of the season. The environment's hot, temperature-wise as well. Mental issues right now for the Cougars.
1st and 10 at the 30, trying to get outside, and 4-yard gain on the 1st down carry by Miles Coleman. One of their wide receivers, top returner from last year, is a true freshman, caught 36 passes for 378. Mestemaker spinning, turning, and he did have a man open, but he had pressure in his face.
He kind of got himself turned around a little bit there. They were trying to get him on a bootleg to his left. Because of the pressure, he had to stop and get that football back inside. Now, Chucky, this is one of those instances where, yes, they want to play up tempo, but you need to make sure that you're in the right play. So there's nothing wrong with slowing it down a little bit in this crucial part of the field to try to keep the drive going.
Bex is the back with Mestemaker. Washington State has got to hold here. Plenty of time over the middle and a 1st down. Diving forward is Simeon Evans all the way to the 17-yard line. Goodman and Peterson in on the stop.
Jack Ellison, the Mike linebacker, number 42, bails out a bit. Not sure why he's going backwards in his protection. He's got to cover that flat route in the middle of the field. Instead, he bails out in coverage, forgets his responsibility. That allows the Mean Green to pick up the 1st down.
Believe it or not, the first 3rd down conversion today for North Texas. Mestemaker play action, looking on the slant pattern. Nice job defensively by Jamori Colson, but there is a flag down. So maybe too much hands from Colson.
Pass interference, number 5, defense. Ball is placed at the spot of the foul. First down.
If it can go wrong right now for Washington State, it has.
It really has in all facets of the football game. Colson's the 5th-year senior. He's been one of their steady products, really improved from week 1 to week 2. Has good screen game discipline, but got a little too handsy at the end of that play to extend the drive here for North Texas.
Sets up 1st and goal at the 7-yard line. North Texas 3 for 3 in the red zone today. 3 touchdowns. Mestemaker spinning and knocked down. Back to the line of scrimmage. Buda Paletti in on the stop. Paletti, a transfer from New Mexico State, spent 3 seasons there. And good year last year, 6.5 tackles for loss, 4.5 sacks.
Yeah, he's a very strong defensive end to the outside. But we see McGill, Mackenzie McGill, number 0. He's back in the game next to Mestemaker.
Bunch formation to the far side of the field. Mestemaker throwing toward corner of the end zone. Caught, touchdown. Trey Williams III. And they are using their big tight ends today.
They sure are. And Trey Williams showing you that athleticism at 6'3", 229. He's working against Matthew Duras here, number 23. And Duras is out of position from the start. An incredible break at the top of that route from Trey Williams.
And helped up the band member that he truck sticked in the corner too.
He's a gentleman, as they say.
I remember you running through band guys, you know, you didn't help at all.
I'm saying I would just shoo off the tuba, the tuba player.
Exactly. You got to celebrate. You got to do a dance.
Your trumpet. I'm not thinking about you and your trumpet.
28-6. This is a shocker. I think coming in, we both thought North Texas, really good football team. I think they're going to be a problem in the American Conference. But at the same time, Washington State improved so much week 1 to week 2. You know they've got a great defense, so you had this interesting matchup, offense versus defense. But Potter has looked good, and they've done a lot of things wrong in this first half.
And sometimes what can kind of get undervalued is like that first road test, that first road game is pretty challenging, especially coming to a new environment. That environment is a new stadium, a new crowd, but also new temperature, new climate. So for Washington State, they just really have played like a team that was not ready for what they were stepping into here today. Now, there's still a lot of football left, and we know that Jimmy Rogers and his staff know how to put together a good team and a good game plan in the second half. But they really have been on their heels in all facets. Now, you can't take anything away from what North Texas has done, but Washington State has not helped themselves in this football game.
They need a spark. Smithson from the goal line. Can he provide it? No, he can't. He is smacked by Jaden Manning. What a hit. There's a player down for Washington State.
My goodness. When we spoke to Eric Morris, one of the things he talked about with his team that they were adamant this week is the physicality of this game. They went into practice to be physical. They wanted to hit on all facets. And they have come to play so far here in this game.
They are tending to an injured Cougar. We believe it is Gavin Barthiel, one of the Washington State linebackers, a redshirt senior from Lakeland, Florida, who actually started his career in Pullman. Spent a couple seasons there in 21 and 22, and then spent the last 2 years at Utah State before returning this year. It is Barthiel who fortunately is going to walk off under his own power.
We appreciate seeing that by being able to keep going. The 6-foot senior out of Florida. Here he is at the top right of this frame. You see the collision there. It's a nice textbook block.
He actually got the better of J.J. Jean-Luc. Lewis, excuse me. Gene Lewis was the one who actually tipped that punt just minutes ago. This feels like the most important moment in this game right now for Washington State. 3:20 to play in the first half, and they are down 4 scores, I should say. 1st and 10. Potter stepping up and throwing back across his body. A nice throw, and they get to the 28-yard line, close to a first down, connecting on the play with Maxwell Woods.
This is something that Washington State's going to have to continue to do. Give Potter a chance with his legs, the bootlegs. He does a really good job with his accuracy on the move as a quarterback.
Again, out to his running back in the flat, makes one miss. Nice move by Woods, and he's got another first down near the 40-yard line. Ooh, a little shake to him in open field.
Yeah, a little wiggle. Love to see a guy do that. Watch Woods catch this football and plant that foot in the ground. Make a guy look silly on the outside. Nice job picking up another first down. And they may have found something here in getting the running backs out in space against linebackers in the passing game.
Potter, plenty of time, kind of a double clutch. Flag comes in the middle of that offensive line.
This has really been the story.
Number 66, offense. 10-yard penalty, repeat first down.
As they get Vapulu on the hold, but they have hurt themselves. That's really been the story for Washington State. Watch 66 here to the right of the screen. Oh, yeah. Has that pull on Trey Fields. Easy call. That's really been the story for Washington State, hurting themselves in addition to the turnovers. They really need to clean this football up.
Handoff to Pulalasi. Slides through the line and gets 4 yards back. 2nd and long as the clock ticks toward the 2-minute timeout.
This has really been uncharacteristic of Washington State to play sloppy football at this stage.
See if they will snap this ball one more time before the 2-minute timeout. Need a big play. 2nd and 16, and it looks like they will take it to the 2-minute timeout. A frustrating start for the Cougars, down 25, and a big drive on the other side. Cougars trailing big here in Denton, Texas. Jackson Potter, the redshirt sophomore from Huntington Beach, trying to lead them down the field for a late first half score and some momentum. What have you seen from him today?
Well, he's looked all right. The issue really has been that they haven't allowed him to really air it out in terms of deep passes. 16 of 22, we've seen the 2 picks. They were a couple of errant throws. But because of those errant throws, they've kind of gotten away from it. They're only asking him to do short passes. And the staff told us his deep ball is one of the best that they've ever seen. So they're going to have to come to that here with 2 minutes left in this half.
Good pocket, downfield, it's picked off! Shane Witter going the other direction! Witter has blockers, and he's hit and dropped at the 12-yard line.
Chucky, we're going to have to give Shane Witter his flowers when this game is over. What an incredible first half from 7. Watch him. He's in the middle of this defense. He baits Potter on making this pass. From his linebacker position, he drops back in coverage and just waited until that football was in the air to come over and snatch it, take it the other way. And if it wasn't for Christian Hilborn making a tackle there, the big right tackle coming in towards the end of that play, that would have been 6 points.
They brought in an up-and-comer, Skylar Cassidy, to be their new defensive coordinator at North Texas this year. He brought 5 players from their Sam Houston defense that was excellent a year ago. Shane Witter, though, Ethan Weslowski, a couple of those holdovers from North Texas's defense last year, they are fitting in perfectly so far. Toward the end zone, touchdown! On the first play after the turnover, caught by Landon Sides. The Denton native having a great day, and this is a first half blowout to this point.
And watch Kobe Humphrey here, number 2. He gets lost during this play. It took a long time to develop, but number 2 was so late getting over to the play to try to get Sides down. Sides was open for some time on that play. It just took Mestelmaker a moment to find him. But because Humphrey got lost in the coverage, left side's wide open. And everything is working right now for the Mean Green.
35-3. You know, we were talking about the momentum that Washington State could possibly get if they go down and score a touchdown. The thought was maybe that they could do that, but unlikely North Texas would have time to do what they just did, but the turnover gives them that opportunity.
Yeah, and Washington State's getting the ball on the other side of the half, so they had a chance to try to get this thing closer, but the defense having such a strong impact for North Texas on this game, and offensively, Mestelmaker's having his way. There is no pressure coming from Washington State defensively. Parker McKenna, Anthony Polano, Caleb Francel, none of these backers have been able to get home on blitzes. So you got to credit this offensive line as well for North Texas in protecting their quarterback. But right now, Chucky, it kind of feels like 7-on-7 for Mestelmaker out there. He's got all the time in the world to make these plays. What a shocker for everyone here except for Eric Morris.
Eric Morris said it blows his mind sometimes how little football that Drew Mestelmaker has played and how good he is on game day. This is his 4th collegiate start. He didn't start in high school since his freshman year. He played safety and he punted. He was a backup to Deuce Adams his final season of high school. There was another college quarterback ahead of him prior to that, as there's a player down on the field for North Texas now. But the sky is the limit for Mestelmaker.
One of the things that Eric Morris and Jordan Davis, their offensive coordinator, also told us about Mestelmaker was his processing speed, just how quickly he's able to process what's happening on the field in going through his progressions and ensuring that offensively they're in the right call. But he has looked comfortable. He has looked confident. He's certainly showing you that he has a command of this offense. But for Washington State, they desperately need to get some pressure on him to help rattle him a little bit, because you've seen what happens if you give Mestelmaker time in the backfield to find wide receivers. He will find them and deliver an accurate pass.
It's Jackson Lataimua, who just got helped off. Julian Duggar will be the quarterback on the first play of this drive for Washington State. We saw this, though, the last drive. He was only in for one play. We'll see if this is an extended entry. Duggar will throw it this time for just the 2nd time this year. Big hit on the outside as Freeman can't hang on. Armstead closed down the gap quickly.
This is one of those situations for Duggar where they're going to have to figure out how to let him settle in. Now, the problem is you put him in a situation 35-3, it's down. We were hoping they got him in earlier in the game to give him a chance to make a difference with his athleticism. Now you're expecting him to make these passes and to go through his progression.
Tries to keep it, and it is a fumble, and North Texas has it. 5 first-half turnovers for the Cougars, and Trey Fields ends up with the football.
It's just an impossible situation for a backup quarterback. You're asking him to come into the game here now to provide a spark, and the mesh point between him and Maxwell Woods creates the fumble there. He's trying to hold on to the football and pull it out, and Maxwell Woods maybe thought he was going to hang on to it a little bit longer. But you have to realize they haven't practiced that a whole lot. These two players in Duggar and Maxwell Woods haven't practiced that mesh point a whole lot in practice. It's been Jackson Potter taking those reps. So a really tough situation for a backup quarterback, and the problems continue for Washington State.
Handoff on the first play for Mestelmaker down to the 14-yard line. They get 6 on first down. North Texas, their average time of possession on 5 of their 7 drives today is 1 minute and 33 seconds because they've had field position like this.
The field position game, they are winning it, and they are capitalizing for sure. And I'd be surprised here if they try to go ahead and get this to the end zone with a shot.
Bex is the back. Bex on the handoff, and he is untouched into the end zone. This is stunning.
Washington State just has no answer for anything that the Mean Green are putting at them. Tay Janssen, number 70, the center. He's going to wall off this side, but there's no second level. There's no one there to even get a finger on Jaden Becks. The linebackers were all split out because of the formation. And Jordan Davis right now, the offensive coordinator for North Texas, is putting on a clinic with the play calling.
Nguma is getting a workout in today on these extra points.
Chucky, we still have 2 quarters of football left. Like there's still a lot of football left on the other side, but this one, wow, what an eruption for North Texas.
On one side, North Texas and their fans are thinking, we're pretty good. And on the other side, Washington State, who maybe felt like they answered some questions a week ago against San Diego State, probably has more than they did a week ago.
I mean, it has been a roller coaster for sure for Washington State. They had a week 1 game against Idaho where they looked a little sloppy and then came back against San Diego State last week, put up 36 points, won a big game. And then to start the first half that they have this way, it just looks like a different team. So truly a roller coaster for the Cougars in terms of their performance through 3 games so far.
75 newcomers for Washington State in Jimmy Rogers' first year. The problem is, Darius, that's just kind of college football right now. Even North Texas, who brought in an FBS high 77 last year, brought in another 68 this year. It's just a matter of who can get this together quickest and handle all of these situations that these guys have not handled before as a unit. And this is another one for Washington State. How are you going to handle this?
Well, that's the tough part, is like it's just a consistent reset. But that's where some of the experience, when you look at North Texas and Eric Morris, this being year 3 for him, he's gone through the transfer portal. He understands what that means. He understands what to prioritize and has learned from some mistakes in the past. And you have to remember that for Jimmy Rogers, this is his first year at the helm, not only at Washington State, but also at the FBS level as a head coach. So a lot of new for him in terms of being able to construct a roster quickly. But I think it's pretty unfortunate for Julian Duggar here to be put in the situation that he's in right now, having gotten thrown into the fire after the mistake. They're really looking for a miracle from him.
54 seconds left in the first half. Handoff going outside, and again, nowhere to go. Maybe a yard for Pulalasi. Hammonds, who we've said his name since the opening kick, it seems like, is in on another stop.
You got a lot of guys defensively for North Texas that have just been making plays all the way across the board. And that's probably been the most impressive part of this game for me, Chucky, is Skylar Cassidy's in his first year as a defensive coordinator. Is that Sam Houston last year. He has turned this defense into a juggernaut in a hurry.
Empty backfield for Duggar on a QB draw and trying to burst through. It almost looked like he had a chance to break through everything there. Gets to the 35-yard line to move the chains on the final play of the first half. One thing Jimmy Rogers said, he's really happy with Jackson Potter and his development. He said, look, he's got to keep that job, though. And so you just wonder moving forward. You're seeing Julian Duggar right now. They've got Zevi Eckhouse, who's in his second season at Washington State, who many might have thought would have been the guy. We are joined now by the head coach of North Texas, Eric Morris. Coach, I know it's been all about the offense, and you're an offensive guy. I've got to ask you about defense and special teams and the impact they've had on this game.
Yeah, just incredible. I mean, all year long, they've been phenomenal, and that was as good a complimentary football as I've ever been a part of. They were kept creating turnovers, negative plays, and then the offense took advantage of it, and we're able to get in the end zone all those times. And so we got them rolling right now. This is going to be a long second half. We got to come out and make sure that we're prepared.
We've been impressed with Drew Mestermaker at the quarterback position for you guys. Talk about your quarterback and what you're seeing from the sidelines.
Yeah, I mean, the sky's the limit, that kid. I mean, he's unfazed by anything. It's just wild that he hasn't played that much football, but the kid continues to improve week in, week out, doesn't put the ball in harm's way, and then finds the open guy, which is ultimately a good trait for the quarterback.
Coach, we appreciate the time. Good luck.
Thank you, sir.
Eric Morris, that's going to be a fun halftime talk for him. You're up 39 points. It's just halftime in Denton, but it has been all mean green. See if Washington State can come out with some sort of spark in the second half, but the halftime report is coming up next. You're watching the American Conference on ESPN. A beautiful day here in Denton, Texas at DATQ Stadium. And look at that, 42-3.
At the top of the screen.
Keep an eye on Armstead. Again, it's 90 degrees today in Denton, Texas. There is a light breeze, but it is hot. Duggar on the move. Runs into a pile of bodies at about the 30-yard line to make it 3rd and 5.
It's a nice new wrinkle for North Texas on defense. That time they brought the safety, Evan Jackson, number 3, to the wide side of the field in a blitz from his safety position. As they understand that Julian Duggar, his sweet spot is his athleticism. They want to run the football with him in QB draws. They can be a little bit more aggressive on defense for North Texas.
Kirby Voorhees, the back next to Duggar. 2 receivers each way. Duggar looking into the flats for Voorhees, just beyond his outstretched hand. And that's going to bring up 4th down.
We saw this a little bit with Jackson Potter in the first half, where they're not allowing the quarterback to really throw the football down the field. All of the design are for short passes. And in a game where you're down multiple scores like it is, you just want to see them take shots, take opportunities to try to get the football down the field, to try to catch up a little bit and really build some life and some momentum in this game.
Last time we saw Ryan Harris, he fumbled the snap and the punt ended up being blocked. This is a nice one down to the 22-yard line, fielded by Coleman, and he gets to the 26, where North Texas will have their first offensive drive in the second half. Look at this, Darius. The first touchdown drive was 10 plays, 75 yards. The next 5 touchdown drives, 13 plays, 93 yards to score 5 touchdowns.
You see that average starting field position because of the turnovers was the 18-yard line. So Washington State hurt themselves, but North Texas was able to capitalize on all that field position and those opportunities and put the football in the end zone. But I've been so impressed so far with Mestemaker at the quarterback position. 123 yards passing and 3 touchdowns so far.
He's going to swing it out to his running back. That was a incomplete pass. Hard to say originally if that was backwards or not, but the officials immediately said no.
That's a good job by the defensive end there. Rayam Stevenson, number 45 for Washington State, not allowing the running back to get out of his field view and vision. And Rayam, they're looking for high things from him. He's a team captain as well. Probably their best defensive lineman, physical on the edge.
And he's been in Pullman for 5 years now. Over the middle, open man, down to the 45-yard line. Trey Williams III is becoming a very highly touted target for Mestemaker.
Watch Parker McKenna here, number 44. He's jumping out to the flat when he should be coming inside to help take care of his position against the tight end there.
Quick throw out to Coleman, and they get 11 yards on first down to move the chains again to the 44 of Washington State.
Chucky, we've seen these linebackers for Washington State just get confused in coverage a lot of times. That's been opening up some holes in the middle of the field, particularly for the running backs for North Texas and the tight ends to make big plays.
Mestemaker. Plenty of time to throw out to McGill, who has a lot of space near the sideline. Good open field tackle by Colson, but they get 8 yards.
And this is one of the things that Drew Mestemaker has done well with not forcing the football. He wants to get this football downfield, looks, sees no one and is open, goes to his outlet in McGill to pick up some big yardage to set themselves up in a second down situation. But that's really been the difference for Drew here. All of his career so far at North Texas through the first 3 games is not forcing things, not being overly aggressive and taking what the defense gives you.
They love his information processing ability, and you said it earlier, they put a lot on these quarterbacks in this system. Look at that throw over the middle, and a great little shake by Terrence Lewis, who gets down to the 15-yard line. Speaking of processing, you could just see Mestemaker finding the open guy.
Yeah, well, Trey Williams, number 6, the tight end, is the one who lays the block on the outside to give Mestemaker the opportunity downfield to find Karnas, and he does an incredible job. But look at how clean this pocket is from the block from Williams. No real pressure on Mestemaker. He has been clean so far. This offensive line, including those tight ends, have done a terrific job in pass pro.
1st and 10, again out to Bex, out of the backfield. Bex zooms down the sideline, and he's pushed out of bounds by Durant. North Texas on the season in the red zone, Darius, 17 of 18 with 14 touchdowns.
And again, Mestemaker is not forcing the football downfield. He's comfortable going to his outlet as they continue in tempo on the offensive side.
Quick little toss on the jet sweep, and trouble here. Washington State sniffed that out. Wyatt Young had nowhere to go. Jack Ellison and Tucker Large making the stop.
And that was Isaac Terrell, number 88, the guy who stretched that football out, the defensive end for Washington State. Nice job by him of staying home and not allowing that ball to get outflanked to the outside. Another 3rd down situation for the Mean Green here. They really like Trey Williams, number 6. You'll see him towards the bottom of this bunch. He's the tight end in motion at the moment.
Empty backfield for Mestemaker. Out wide to McGill, is running back, who is split out on the play. They are inside the 10-yard line.
Nice job by Tucker Large there. The safety coming down and making a play, number 1 for Washington State. Really trying to figure out defensively how to stop the bleeding here. North Texas has done an incredible job of mixing it up, and it looks like they're going to live to fight another day. Try to kick a field goal.
No reason to go for it here, up 39 points. So Kali Unguma, sophomore from Mission, Texas, 3 for 3 on field goals this season, and also perfect on PATs from the right hash. Nice job to get that hold down by Sawyer Evans. The field goal is good. And that's how the 3rd quarter begins. North Texas adding to their lead. 45-3 as North Texas marches toward 3-0 on the season. 9:46 to play in the 3rd quarter. Next week, Monday Night Football doubleheader. Bucks Texans at a special start time of 7 Eastern, 4 Pacific on ESPN ABC and ESPN Deportes. Then Chargers Raiders on ESPN and ESPN Deportes, both available on the all-new ESPN app. Coverage kicks off at 3 Eastern with NFL Live. Then Scott Van Pelt and the Monday Night Countdown crew at 5.
Shout out to my beloved Houston Texans there. Spent some time in Houston with the Texans. D'Amico Ryan's really got that program going.
Yeah, that is a really good team and a great young head coach. How about Mike Evans? 11 consecutive 1,000-yard seasons, tied for most in NFL history with Jerry Rice. And what a great situation for the rookie Emeka Egbuka out of Ohio State to get to learn under a guy like that.
Yeah, and he's a guy who's kind of done it quietly. Like, he's not overly boisterous with his commentary, has had an incredible career. You mentioned 11 seasons with over 1,000 yards, but he's not like the overly boisterous kind of guy. He's just kind of quiet, goes about his business methodically. Great guy to learn from, big-time pro.
He's been doing it with a lot of different quarterbacks, too. Saw him with Tom Brady, now with Baker Mayfield. Numerous before that in Tampa. Duggar in trouble, and a lot of green jerseys on Julian Duggar. Kevion Huddleston got there first, the sophomore from Tyler, Texas, and the TCU transfer.
Yeah, Huddleston just blows the guy up front. Watch number 40 here. He's going to come into the middle of this screen and just blow up 2 different guys to get to the quarterback. Now, part of the problem for Washington State with Julian Duggar is just, they say that it's the processing for him. He's a bit slower on processing things as a quarterback, so he hangs on to the football too long, but you don't have a chance when you got a big defensive lineman like Huddleston bearing down on you in a moment.
Neal in motion. Duggar looking that direction. They jumped all over it, and there's the athlete Duggar making a couple miss, but not able to even get back to the original line of scrimmage. Looked like he wanted to throw the bubble screen maybe, and they were on it.
Yeah, he had a lot of green color in his face too. He actually did a pretty good job of just getting this football back to close to where the line of scrimmage was. Wanted to try to get that football out. Had Angel Johnson in front of him, which kind of knocked him off rhythm there. You have to wonder too for Washington State when we'll see Zevi Eckhouse, number 4. He's the other senior that they have at quarterback. He was projected to be the starter going into the spring.
3rd and long for Duggar. Pocket collapsing, rolling out, still looking downfield, and Duggar holds it too long, and he's brought down. Huddleston, his 2nd sack on this drive.
Christian Hilborn, number 61, the right tackle, just gets bulldozed by Huddleston at the edge of that offensive line. But you see the issues for Julian Duggar there. They've mentioned that holding the football too long is something they've seen of him. He's got to get out, feel that pressure, and try to get that ball upfield to make something out of nothing there. Can't take a sack in that moment. But Washington State has a lot of problems, including production at the quarterback position.
The other thing they've got is the Apple Cup next weekend. They host Washington. And of course, that is the one everybody circles on their calendar. Coleman makes one miss on the punt return. Special teams again for North Texas. A flag back at the 44-yard line on the North Texas side of the field. But a fantastic return as it stands.
Here in return, holding number 29, return team. 10-yard penalty, 1st down, timeout on the field.
And they got Camden McFarland on the hold. North Texas football on the other side. Let's take a look at today's Good Hands plays brought to you by Allstate. If you're a pass catcher for North Texas, you better be ready because Drew Mestemaker and this offense are going to spread the love.
And imagine if you're a wide receiver in the transfer portal next year, or you're a young player who loves to catch the football. You're going to love what you see out of this offense. But they've talked a lot about Drew Mestemaker and his ability to process information. Look at the placement of all these balls. They're right on the money, hitting the back out of the backfield on that play. 8 different wide receivers caught it in the first half, which led to a couple of 2 more to catch it in the second half here. 11 different wide receivers with a reception tonight. 18 straight game of over 8 players. What a terrific job so far spreading the football for the quarterback, Drew Mestemaker.
Eric Morris said his elite trait is anticipation. He said he has pretty flawless technique too. There's no wasted motion in how he throws the football. Nowhere to go for McGill. Somehow scoots away from one, and that is a nice gain on 1st down that should have went for absolutely nothing.
Chucky, the balance here from McGill. He's going to have a bunch of white jerseys on him after he gets the football, but a spin move and then a little tiptoe out of the tackle there to pick up a couple of yards on 1st down. That's some ballet taps there.
McGill 7 rushing attempts. That's the most by any player in the game. 6:50 and ticking. 2nd and 5 for Mestemaker. Throwing another man wide open, and they've got a 1st down. Caught by Wyatt Young, sophomore from Katy, Texas.
Seeing that processing speed from Drew Mestemaker on display on that play. Went through 2 to 3 different progressions before finding the wide receiver on the outlet. Delivers a perfect pass.
Handoff to McGill, coming left side, gets out to the sideline and jumps out of bounds. There's some late contact that came in. No whistle, and I don't think there was a ton of intent behind it.
Nice job, McGill, on the yards after contact here. Matthew Durish, 23, had him rights, dead to rights in the beginning of that play. Unable to get there, and you see a little bit of a late hit there. He was definitely in the white before that body came in to hit him.
Jack Janikowski was the one that ran him down. Handoff up the middle to Bex. They've been a nice little 1-2 punch today. They are without Kiefer Sibley to this point in the game. We have not seen the sophomore from Waco carry the football. He was questionable entering this game. But that's a deep running back room and really a deep team overall. That was one of the things Eric Morris talked to us about. This is the most depth that they have had since he's been here.
They also got a really good true freshman in Caleb Hawkins, number 24, so we'll probably see him play some too in the 4th quarter. What a luxury if you're an offensive coach.
Handoff to Bex. 4 yards on 1st down. Nobody loves a blowout like your substitutes and your young players, much more than we do up in the booth.
No siree. These running backs continuing to display some skill here. Also catching the football out of the backfield. Beck's got a couple of catches. McGill has a couple of catches as well. They've been productive from that position today.
You could catch it out of the backfield.
A couple times.
You know how many receiving yards you had in your career?
I do not remember.
Ballpark?
Man, you'd have to look that one up. I'm old now.
816.
Oh,
I'm impressed.
There you go.
A little over 200 on average per year.
Hey,
Not
man.
bad.
Trying to do it.
Mestemaker, plenty of time throwing downfield a little bit beyond the reach of Brandon Young. I lied. That would have been. You only played 3 seasons, right?
Yeah,
so it's. I mean, you had way more than 200. So yeah, I had to check myself there. I got it.
You know, don't shortchange me now here, sir.
Tell you who else doesn't love blowout is our producer John Colano, who's a Washington State alum.
Yeah, this one stings.
Our truck is divided because our director Seth Biley is a North Texas grad, so it's.
We know who's buying drinks tonight.
Yes, yeah.
Potentially.
McGill bounces it outside. McGill into space down the sideline, and he's pushed out inside the 15.
What an incredible heads-up play from McGill here. Watch Bean Beatley, the defensive end, number 51. He's the guy who loses containment on the outside. And McGill showing you the shiftiness there to pick up the big yardage. What a heads-up play and an athletic play from the running back.
27 yards on the ground. That's the longest rush of the day. 1st and 10 at the 15. Mestemaker on a little out route to the 5-yard line, and down close to the 2-yard line goes Dalton Carnes. He's from College Station, 2nd year at North Texas after a couple at Houston.
Nice job on the out route here, catching this football and getting it up the field from Dalton Carnes. This offense has been able to have their way all day, led by Drew Mestemaker.
Taking their time as this 3rd quarter winds down. That lead at halftime for North Texas was their largest ever over an FBS opponent. Handoff up the middle and nowhere to go. Washington State closes the door on the 1st and goal play.
Our first look at true freshman Caleb Hawkins. Talked about him getting an opportunity here today. 5 carries coming into today. But it's so crucial, Chucky, to get game reps for young players. So when you have games and have a lead like this, not surprised to see some of the young guys getting live action in important moments of the game like Caleb Hawkins.
Hawkins still the back, steps up to the left of Mestemaker in a unique formation. Little lob pass over the top for the easy score. That is Ethan Day, the defensive lineman.
Wow, Day sneaks into the game here. Watch number 90, gonna play like he's blocking and then cut upfield to catch that football for 6 points. Bringing out the bag of tricks there on offense for North Texas. They're having a lot of fun with this one.
The only thing that might have indicated how this game was going is if you told me before that Ethan Day was going to catch a touchdown. I'd have said, uh-oh.
Well, you got to give him credit because he looked like a tight end in that mode. Did a nice acting job, too, of coming up as if he was going to make a block. Ethan Day catches the touchdown. He's excited. He's pumped. The Mean Green are rolling. They got 52 points. They're up big in the 3rd quarter.
All smiles for Drew Mestemaker in North Texas. 52-3, they lead Washington State. Now for our Fansville college football update, brought to you by Dr. Pepper. Ice cold Aiden Burr on the 55-yard game-winning field goal as time expired to knock off Clemson, and Bobby Dodd for Georgia Tech. What a win.
Well, it's a huge win, but it also goes to show you the turnovers. You see the 2 turnovers for Clemson were pivotal in that game. Carries over to our game with all the turnovers for Washington State. It's the difference in winning and losing in college football.
Touchback as Washington State takes over with 2:30 to play in the third quarter. We'll see who comes out at the quarterback position. I think I just saw Zevi Eckhouse head to the middle of this huddle, so we might see him for the first time. If you joined us late, Jackson Potter, who looked really good in week 2, started this game. They gave Julian Duggar a few chances recently, and now here is Zevi Eckhouse, a redshirt senior from Culver City, California. He transferred last year from Bryant. They thought he was going to be the guy this year. This could be his moment to take this job.
And that is exactly what the staff and Jimmy Rogers and everyone told us about him. He was picked to be the guy in the spring, got beat out. They told him to stay ready because his opportunity could come at any time.
Handoff on the first play and a couple yards on the ground. The running game has just not been there. For Eckhouse, 3 years at Bryant, 8,500 yards, 75 touchdowns. The Big South Player of the Year in his final season there. They were in the NEC before that. He was the NEC Offensive Rookie of the Year that season. This guy has thrown the football a lot and has done it successfully.
Yeah, he's got a lot of experience, loads of experience coming into this season and this year. And sometimes in camp, you know, you just find a better player in camp, and Jackson Potter was that for them in the spring.
Eckhouse looking downfield. Nice throw on the outside and connecting here with Freeman, who's pushed out near midfield.
It's an incredible job by Freeman there. Watch Evan Jackson, number 3. He's a safety on the back end in 2 deep. He gets over there super late, kind of trailing late, and falls down at the end of this. Freeman does a nice job of catching it, getting upfield, but a wonderful placement from Zevi Eckhouse on the throw there, showing you why they love him. They say he can make every throw across the field. Very experienced quarterback at the helm for Washington State at the moment.
Jimmy Rogers was very direct in saying our best players will play. I don't care where you came from. Oh my goodness, Voorhees over the top, jumping over David Fisher. And they move the chains again.
Nice athletic move. Christian Hilborn, 61, the right tackle, does a nice job of getting a block on the edge. But the athleticism from Voorhees jumps over to pick up the first down.
Eckhouse throwing the out route is too far for Meredith to bring in. Did you ever jump over anybody?
I did not know. That's usually frowned upon in the running back room. They kind of don't want you to do it because you expose yourself and the ball when you're in the air, but it's so fun to see. Especially when a guy can land it like that. I don't think I had the hops either. Maybe
okay,
I didn't have the vertical jump. Wasn't one of those guys.
Yeah. I think a lot of times it's the bigger guys that get the chance because nobody wants to hit them up high too.
Yep. That is a great point.
Pulalasi, the running back with Eckhouse. Eckhouse looking down the seam. It was covered, trying to step up, and he's dragged down from behind. Joshua Pierce on the stop.
Pierce does a good job, but it's Evan Jackson, the safety on the back end, who comes over to cover the route that Eckhouse wanted to go to. So nowhere to go with the football. He just tries to get up and make something out of nothing there. But a good play from Pierce to get him down. Joshua Pierce is a former high school basketball player, 6'4", 250 pounds. They think he's got that NFL-type frame. It was on full display on that play.
3 receivers right side. Pulalasi was in motion. Little tunnel screen here. Nowhere to go. Sniffed out by Will Jones II. And they only get 2 yards on the play to bring up 4th down. And to bring us to the 4th quarter.
That's the end.
As impressive as the North Texas offense has been, the defense has equaled that and maybe been even better as they lead by 49. We've made it to the 4th quarter, 52-3, Mean Green over the Cougars as we enter the final frame. Coming up tonight on ABC at 7:30 Eastern, 3rd-ranked LSU hosting Florida in Death Valley. You do not want to miss that game. We are getting into some really good matchups here in week 3. As some of the big national storylines start to take shape. LSU has been one of the most impressive teams in these first few weeks of the season.
Yeah, shout out to Brian Kelly. He really has that program moving in a positive direction over the past few years.
Oh, that stayed in, or did it? I think they're going to rule that out of bounds near the 5-yard line. It's a great punt by Ryan Harris. Well, AT&T keeps us connected with today's best moment. It's been a really fun day for Drew Mestemaker.
He has been outstanding today at the quarterback position, rolling out to his right. Able to hit pay dirt towards the end of that, in the middle of that defense. And what a day from the young quarterback. 24, 29, 211 yards, and 4 touchdowns. And we get our first look at Reese Poffenbarger.
3 players reviewed the play. The ball broke the plane to the goal line. By rule, that's a touchback. Be first down at the 20.
Kind of incredible that that ball was able to stay in bounds based on where it was originally touched. I mean, that was inches, maybe less, from the sideline.
Here from the booth, too, just with where the ball was, whether it was on the edge of that sideline or not.
You said it, though. Senior Reese Poffenbarger from Middleton, Maryland, spent last year behind Cam Ward at Miami. Other stops at Albany and Old Dominion as he hands it off up the middle on first down. But you said it on the other side. Zevi Eckhouse may be expected to be the starter for Washington State. Poffenbarger came in, and maybe he expected to be the guy for North Texas.
Yeah, especially with how well he can communicate and his command of the offense. They say he also made a ton of elite throws, so they were expecting him to contribute and play big time. Sure, he was himself as a senior, but he has found himself behind an elite quarterback in Drew Mestemaker.
Hawkins getting some good action here in the backfield, moves the chains up to the 34-yard line, 1st and 10.
A lot of times for the young guys for North Texas playing right now, naturally the game being out of reach, you want to make sure that you're continuing to play hard. What you hate to see in these moments are any kind of injuries, or guys get injured because they're not going through the whistle because there isn't as much on the line as far as the game is concerned. Continue to play your game and play through the whistle.
Poffenbarger maybe gets his first chance to throw it here. Out to Hawkins in the flats, who makes one miss across the 40, and he is running physical right now. Close to the 43-yard line, about 1.5 yards short of a first down.
Yeah, he's trying to make some noise so he can get some playing time next week. Watch Jack Ellis, 42, the Mike backer. He has him dead to rights there, but Hawkins just makes him look silly in the backfield and continues to fight upfield to get near the first down yardage. Love to see that out of your young players. Just a true freshman. He's got some nice size at 6 foot, 200 pounds. Bright future for this young man.
From Shawnee, Oklahoma, went to North Rock Creek High School, first team All-State there, 1,600 yards and 28 touchdowns as a senior on the ground. Baron Tipton is running across the field with his helmet off.
Injured
to
player
the
for the
sideline.
offense after the ball was set. Timeout, North Texas. Their first of the second half.
So we will step away with them. 2nd and 2, just over 13 minutes to play in the 4th quarter. Back in Denton, just going to illustrate something here that they are cracking down on this year, and it's feigning injuries. You see the ball get spotted right here at the 42-yard line at the top of your screen. That is Baron Tipton, who then in a second is going to basically go down injured or present to be injured. In that scenario, if the ball's already been spotted, and this wasn't a case where he is faking an injury, but if a player presents as injured after the ball is spotted, it's a charged timeout to that player's team. If they don't have a timeout remaining, it goes down as a delay of game penalty.
Yeah, new wrinkle there that you don't see a whole lot often there, or haven't seen a whole lot so far this season, but trying to prevent the flops and the flopping.
Just trying to make sure we have seen it in the past. A lot of times, tempo offenses, it's typically on the other side. Maybe a defender goes down to give their team a chance to take a break.
Yeah, slow down a little bit.
And again, that's not what Baron Tipton was doing. I don't think there's any doubt about that. But just to illustrate that new wrinkle to the rules, Poffenbarger connecting on the outside. Shandon King on the catch.
It's a nice hands catch there from Shandon King.
About 15 different receivers catching a pass today.
I tell you, quite the day for this offense. But you have to think about it. Like, if you are a high school wide receiver or some other player that's considering spots from a transfer portal next year, you have to look at places where wide receivers are targeted and guys get production. So this offense is very attractive for wide receivers across the country.
A little shovel pass here to Hawkins. Scoots his way down to the 35-yard line.
Look at the patience here from the young running back, the true freshman, 24, Caleb Hawkins there, just waits and buys his time to get that football back to him. That is not an easy thing to do for a young football player, to show the patience on that shuffle pass. A lot of times you see guys want to move and start to go before they get the football. But a nice job of staying calm in a chaos environment, picking up the first down.
7th straight drive for North Texas, reaching Washington State territory. 1st and 10 at the 35-yard line for Poffenbarger and company. Fakes the handoff, and again on target to Dalton Carnes. 5 yards on first down.
Chucky, this football was right on Carnes out of that break. The second he turned around, that football was in his chest. Just an incredible timing route and throw from Poffenbarger.
You think about, you talked about the receivers, but for quarterbacks, when you look at Eric Morris and the guys that he has coached and recruited and been around, Patrick Mahomes, Cam Ward, who he took to Washington State, he recruited John Mateer to Washington State. And one of the things he talked about, he really likes those guys to play other sports. He said he loves basketball players playing with their eyes up. They see the field. Loves baseball players. Said he watched Patrick Mahomes and Cam Ward play basketball in high school. Watched Baker Mayfield play baseball. Said he offered John Mateer on a baseball field.
Yeah, that's where the offer came from. But he said it's really about multi-sport athletes know how to create space in creative ways. And that's really what it boils down to for him, and why they like guys to play multiple sports. Guys are used to using their athletic ability to create space in other areas.
Man, Hawkins is impressive, isn't he? He is tough to bring down.
Well, what I appreciate is just how much he's going out in this moment. Again, the game's out of reach, and you see guys kind of bottle it down a little bit and not go hard. He's continuing to run hard and take advantage of his opportunities, because really what you're telling the coaching staff right now is, hey, coach, if I get an opportunity next week or the week after, I'm ready to go. Keep me in mind.
10th play of this drive. Under 9.5 to play in Denton. Handoff. Hawkins, space. And he's dragged down inside the 5-yard line.
He is not hesitating with the football in his hands, Caleb Hawkins. When he gets it, he pins down. Watch Dylan Shaw, 53. He's going to pull around from the guard position. Does a nice job of just getting in front of the defender to give Hawkins some space.
And there it is, the first time in his young career, a touchdown for Caleb Hawkins. Go get some water, man. Oh, my goodness.
I love that they gave him the opportunity to cap off the drive after all that productivity and being the workhorse to get that football down the field. Give it to him to let him take it into the end zone. Now, if you are Eric Morris and company, and you're thinking about this backfield next week you have to think that Caleb Hawkins might deserve an opportunity or two early in that game.
And again, we mentioned didn't see Kiefer Sibley, so it really could be a four-headed monster for them if they want it to be. Seems like every unit for North Texas has been flawless today.
Year 4, got that program rocking and rolling.
I love it. I love that you got soccer on there.
Hey, man. I like global football.
It's into the end zone for a touchback, and Washington State takes over with under 9 to play in the fourth quarter.
Oh, Chucky, we mentioned my multi-view. Let's talk about yours.
I didn't get too creative with the multiple sports, but I got your Arkansas Ole Miss game, Florida LSU tonight.
Big one.
In Baton Rouge, and then I love the Vanderbilt-South Carolina matchup. Two quarterbacks that are exciting to watch, and I'd say the same thing for Cal. That's a team I've got my eye on early on. Good quarterback play to start the season for them. A little ACC Big Ten matchup. It took me second with Cal. I second guessed myself.
Yeah, there's a lot happening there. They are out in California making that trek.
Zevi Eckhouse continues at quarterback for Washington State. Nice cut there by Pula Lossi, who's getting some nice carries. Redshirt sophomore from Tacoma, Washington. Speaking of Cal in the ACC, Washington State and Oregon State really should be the premier programs in this new look Pac-12, along with Boise State. And you look down this list, there's going to be 8 football playing members. Gonzaga, no football. Dallas Baptist is there, just baseball only. But this is a good little conference that's starting to shape up. And Washington State, when you look at them moving forward, they should look at this as an opportunity to be the leader there.
Without a doubt. I mean, you saw them play last week against San Diego State, who will also be moving into the Pac-12. And they put on a clinic last week. So Jimmy Rogers and his staff have an opportunity to really lead the conference going into next season. But in order to do that, they got to clean up quite a bit on all facets of the game. And this is the storyline for me for Washington State moving forward, is who comes in at quarterback next week when they play Washington.
That's the other part of this. It is Washington next week. It is the game that means most to the folks in that state. Pulalasi hit hard at the 41-yard line. And so not only could you potentially be making a change, or could you see Jackson Potter back out there coming off of a tough loss and a bad performance as a team, but you're going to be going up against the rival, and there's a lot of noise that comes from that rivalry around those programs.
Yeah, it's really tough if you're Jimmy Rogers, because you're scratching your head with what to do here at the quarterback position, the most important position on offense, figuring out who that guy might or might not be.
2nd and 8. Takes the handoff to Woods. Eckhouse stepping up and eludes one and then lowers his shoulder. Tackled at the 45-yard line.
And that's really the case for Eckhouse here, since he's the older player, the more experienced player. A lot of times you see coaches in pivotal moments when they're trying to figure out who the quarterback is, just lean with the guy with the most experience. So I certainly wouldn't be surprised if Zevi Eckhouse is the starter moving forward. Just because of his experience, you're trying to lean on that experience moving forward.
Washington next week. Cougars won that last year at Lumen Field in Seattle. That was the first matchup between the two since Washington left for the Big Ten. Nice throw to the 45-yard line as they convert on 3rd down.
Well, that's what you love to see there from Eckhouse, as he gets that to Leon Neal Jr. But just a decisive play. No wasted movement, no wasted time. He went through one progression, then got to his second progression, and the football was out of his hands. That's how you draw it up and coach it up. Nice job by Zevi.
Under 6 minutes left in the game. North Texas trying to not allow a touchdown for the 2nd game in 3 weeks. Eckhouse going to air it out to a wide open receiver just beyond the reach of Mackenzie Aline, the redshirt freshman from Tustin, California. That could have been his first career reception if that was on target.
Man, he had Jackson Latamudi, number 13. He's going to get him on this double move. Watch him at the top of this route. Go inside, fake outside, and then create the separation. He's wide open, but Eckhouse just put a little bit too much air on that football. That's one you have to hit, Chucky, especially in a game like this when you're vying for playing time at the quarterback position. You got to hit that. And looks like we may have a false start here on Washington State.
Everybody but the center. 5-yard penalty. Take it down.
That's something you hear. Everybody but the center.
It's really, it's kind of worse if you're Brock Dew in that situation, because you're thinking, well, something's wrong here.
Maybe I'm the guy.
Maybe I should have snapped it.
Oh, man, but that's the thing. You're playing 3 different quarterbacks. We saw Jackson Potter for most of the game. Julian Duggar has been in this second half. So while the cadence might be the same, the way the quarterback says it is a little different. So sometimes you can get tripped up when you've got 3 different guys playing QB, calling the formation and the plays.
Whistles from the North Texas sideline. They'll take a timeout.
Timeout, North Texas. Their second
We
of the
will
half.
step away with
Timeout on the field.
5:30 to play in the fourth quarter. College football national championship game headed toward Miami. This next 5 games for North Texas. We show you this because of that October 10th game against number 18 South Florida, who's currently playing Miami right now. They are in a weather delay, so you don't need to change the channel. South Florida, North Texas in 3 weeks, in 4 weeks. The way these two teams are playing, that is going to be a game with a lot of eyes on it potentially if North Texas continues on the way they're going, and certainly with how South Florida's playing.
Could you imagine North Texas going into that game undefeated? A lot of confidence, terrific quarterback play. They got a chance.
Still a few weeks to get there for Mean Green. They go to West Point to take on Army next week. Then they'll host South Alabama before a bye. That's part of that too, though. They'll have a bye before they play South Florida.
That'll line up nicely for Eric Morris and company. And he has done such a terrific job. You know, I felt when we had a chance to spend some time with him this week.
Handoff left side and close to the first down marker.
Got Maxwell Wood there. When we had a chance to spend some time with Coach, he talked a lot about his quarterback in Messmaker and his ability, and we've seen it on display here today. But you look at his 3 starts from week 1, 3 touchdown passes, 2 touchdown passes last week, 4 today.
It's his 4th collegiate start.
Just outstanding. I mean, he has not played much football, much college football prior to this season. So to have a guy start fast and to produce the way he is quite the luxury for Eric Morris and staff. But when we spoke to him, he talked a lot about like building culture and ensuring that you have the right guys in the building.
Eckhouse all day floats it over toward Carter Pabst, who was wide open. Second time he's missed a big one downfield.
Yeah, these are tough. We've talked about him playing for playing time moving forward as potentially the starter, them handing the reins to him after a defeat like today or a performance like today out of the quarterback position. But he's had 2 opportunities to create explosive plays, and he just has missed on the throw. He set his feet both times. He was in rhythm, just errant throws. Now, some of that is confidence, some of that is not being in the game a lot to play, but he's got to take advantage of his opportunities.
Looking toward Pabst again. What a grab by the freshman Carter Pabst. Mentioned he's from Wichita, Kansas, went to Eisenhower High School. There's some really good high school football in the Wichita area.
No doubt, but look at this pass and this catch on the outside. Pabst is going to grab this with his hands. He's got a guy all over him, and Chase Canada still able to make a contested catch. Excellent job from the wide receiver.
Deep ball again for Eckhouse. A lot of contact down there in the end zone, and that is going to be pass interference against B.J. Allen.
Yeah, he's working against McKenzie. Number 88, the other redshirt freshman wide receiver.
Defense. 15-yard penalty, first down.
They've tried to throw 2 home run balls to Mackenzie Aline and have come up empty.
It's at the end of this. You see him grabbing cloth there. He's got the right arm of Eileen, number 88. Easy call for the officials on B.J. Allen.
And that is Aline, who is down on the field on a knee. They'll have to take a look at him. Long, hot day down on the turf here in Denton.
No doubt for sure.
Mackenzie Aline was a walk-on last year and red-shirted. There's a handful of walk-ons for Washington State that have seen action these first few weeks.
Their offensive coordinator, Danny Florin, told us a lot about the growth opportunity here at Washington State and trying to take advantage of the opportunity in front of them to create their own destiny as a staff and as a team here. Gonna have to come from a setback today.
Handoff, trying to get outside, and tackle to the 6-yard line is Pula Lassi. You mentioned their offensive coordinator, Danny Freund, who spent last year as a co-offensive coordinator under Jimmy Rogers at South Dakota State. He spent 12 years at his alma mater, North Dakota, before that. But we asked Danny Freund about the legacy of great offenses and quarterbacks here, and that was something he was really excited about. He said it makes you excited to go to work every day and to try to uphold that tradition. He said he remembers watching Ryan Leaf in the Rose Bowl against Michigan back in the 90s.
So wild how you can be impressionable as a youngster, how it all comes back full circle.
Quick throw to Hudson Cedarland, who is stopped short of the goal line by Julian Knox.
So far for Zevi Eckhouse, 6 of 9, 68 yards in the air. We talked about a couple of the missed throws and opportunities that he had. He is playing for playing time, volleying for playing time right now. When you lose a game this bad, coaches come in and they make a ton of changes. They give guys opportunities to play. So for Zevi Eckhouse, he's trying to solidify himself to potentially start moving forward at some point in the season.
He signaled timeout. It was ticking down toward the 2-minute timeout, and not sure what the differential was there. Almost looked like those clocks were synced up. It's 3rd and goal. There is a timeout on the field. We know that much. ABC at 7:30 Eastern tonight is the place to be. 3rd-ranked LSU hosting Florida in Death Valley. The Gators trying to respond after getting beat in the Swamp last week by South Florida. And they've got to do it against this guy, Garrett Nussmeier. 200 or more passing yards in all 16 career starts. 3rd longest active FBS streak.
He was strong last week in that Clemson game. 232 yards and a touchdown. He's a good quarterback.
Woods in motion. Eckhouse will take it in for the first touchdown of the day for the Cougars.
Now, we saw them run this play quite a bit with Julian Duggar, where it's a design QB draw. Snap the ball to him. He takes a couple of steps, looks one way, and then go. The first time they've run it with Eckhouse. Right here at the goal line, able to get it into the end zone. Solid drive from the quarterback. I mean, outside of those 2 missed throws, he's been fairly clean so far.
Extra point is good for Jack Stevens to make it 59-10. 1:57 left in the 4th quarter.
Well, the interesting thing for North Texas is that there comes a point when you're winning and when you're playing well where the expectations start to change. You go from the team that folks were expecting to come out and to play okay, and then you become the team where they expect you to come out and to be elite every single week. And I think we saw the letdown for Washington State here coming into today because they were expected to continue on their prowess from last week. That didn't happen. I think for North Texas, where you caution yourself, as you say, they have a really big game here today. They perform well on all facets. The last thing you want is a letdown next week. So the question becomes, how do they reframe the mindset of these student athletes when you start to feel yourself, when you have confidence, when you start to think your britches are real big? Like, it all starts to come into play here going into next week, trying to keep them grounded to get better and improve week to week.
Ryan Harris sends it away toward Evans and into the end zone for a touchback. Well, our extra yards for teacher is all about Max Balloon, who Got a degree in advertising at South Dakota State, now working toward a degree in strategic communication at Washington State. He said Jim Helen was a professor who made an impact on him at South Dakota State, said he taught him a lot about media and journalism, but made it a fun learning environment. And Max said he also supported his journey, not just in school, but also in football.
Yeah, you have to respect that when those professors make an impact on their students.
Do you have a teacher you remember that?
I have quite a few. My most favorite teacher, at Notre Dame was my finance teacher, Carl Ackerman. Shout out to Carl.
Okay.
He was one of the first guys at Notre Dame who told me, "You can be great, son. You can be great." I believed him.
I love it. You believed him, and it happened.
Well, I guess that's debatable, but still, in my mind anyway.
6-yard gain on first down as the clock ticks down here in the fourth quarter. What is the biggest either surprise or standout for you in this game? What would you leave today thinking the most of?
I would say defensively for North Texas was probably the biggest surprise. They've got a new defensive coordinator, Cassidy. He's done an incredible job. Just the way they played, specifically on that front seven. Shane Whittier was incredible today from his linebacker position. Trey Fields did well from his Mike position. We saw Ethan Day make an impact on defense and as a tight end for the touchdown. So I would say defensively for me today, you saw the growth for North Texas. You saw them take a leap defensively today as a team.
Eric Morris said one of the fun parts about working with Skylar Cassidy is seeing not just how the defense gravitates toward him, but the whole team. Just a lot of guys that like him, enjoy being coached by him. And then for Cassidy, what attracted him partially about this job, knows the Texas area well, but he was able to bring his staff from Sam Houston, and that was key for him because he raves about that group, those position coaches, and he said that helped elevate kind of their floor when they got here. Their starting point was much higher because the verbiage and everything they do in their defense was a uniform message from their coaching staff. And 5 of the guys he brought with him from that Sam Houston defense a year ago. North Texas 59-10 win over Washington State. They are 3-0 for the first time since 2018. It's the last time they topped the 7-win mark, haven't eclipsed 7 wins since the back-to-back in 2017 and 2018 when they won 9 in both those seasons.
Look at that defense, allowed 40 points through 3 games, their fewest in a really long time. So this was really a team win for North Texas. You have to be excited if you're Eric Morris and company and putting together a complete game, which is exactly what they talked about when we spoke to them this week. Let's bring in Coach. Coach, congratulations on a big win. How does it feel from the sidelines for your team? What are you most excited about from their performance today?
Yeah, just the effort. I think our kids come out. We challenged them physicality-wise. We knew this was a physical ball club we were about to face. They pride themselves on that. We knew we had to match that and then overcome it. We knew the heat was probably going to play in our favor. We tempoed them early. I think once we got on them, our kids played great complementary football, so super proud of them.
Coach, part of the college football landscape is just a lot of new players every year for most programs. Your guys seem to have really come together quickly. What do you attribute that to?
Yeah, I think, our coaching staff, Coach Cassidy's done an amazing job on the defensive side, all those assistant coaches, Coach Svoboda with our special teams. So they worked their tails off, so this is a great team win for us.
Coach, congrats.
Appreciate you.
Eric Morris and company 3-0 as they roll to a victory. The Stone Cold celebration in Denton and North Texas for the first time since 2018. Off to a 3-0 start. They're off to West Point next week to take on Army. For our entire crew, led by John Colano and Seth Biley, my partner Darius Walker, I am Chucky Kemp. Thanks for joining us, everybody. So long from Denton, where the final is 59-10. North Texas over Washington State.